I've been wanting to study more of Socrates and Plato, like philosophy, and kind of because I've been asking a lot of questions, and they're not simple questions. They're not like questions I'll just ask a friend and he'll give me the answer to. And I came to a conclusion. I was like, I think I need a more deeper understanding of philosophy and how famous philosophy thinkers like Plato and Socrates and all those other how they came across their thoughts or their processes. So at the moment, I'm reading the Trials of Socrates,
Okay.
and then the History of Plato or something like that. But
Yeah,
that's the book.
and please keep the open line of communication for any recommendations. I love, especially coming from people that I know are in
Yeah,
that space, and I know what they're looking for. Like if you come across that, you can send me as many of those referrals as far as books as you want. I would love to add it to the list.
I got you with a list. Hold on. So one book, I'm gonna send you a screenshot of what I'm reading.
Okay.
Um, but I did want to mention. So another thing that I've been working on is my feminine side. Um, and one book I can recommend is The Dark Side of Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. I'll send you a screenshot of all those book lists that I have.
Yeah, please do.
Um, but with that book pretty much it talks about the feminine side of humanity because, as we know in history, women are frowned upon, just haven't been giving their full potential, especially in a world and females are extremely powerful. The feminine power is extremely powerful, especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes into decision making, when it comes into just love making. They're so extremely powerful, way more powerful than men. But yeah, in my personal opinion. And when I was reading Debbie Ford's book, I was like, holy crap! Like, is this why women are so frowned upon, like in history? Like, is this why women aren't put as leaders? Is this why women are like just the head of the house? Like, when I was reading this book, like, this is mind blowing.
Yeah,
But I'll definitely send you.
and I agree with you on that. And so the one thing I remember what I wanted to say is, and I think you'll really like this. Are you familiar with Erik? I think Weinstein is his last name.
Erik Weinstein, the
Yeah,
mathematician. He's a
yeah.
brilliant man. Yes.
Have you watched his conversation with Joe Rogan? He actually has it with 2 or 3 other people too.
I
The one with
watched him with Joe twice. He was in Joe twice. I've watched him with
yeah,
twice. I saw him with Lex Friedman too.
maybe that was the other one. Is that the guy? He has a very short buzz cut, very intellectual.
Very intellectual. He looks like a Men in Black dude.
A
Always
little
wears a
bit,
suit and
yeah.
tie. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So
He's a genius.
was that the one? Did you watch the one when he talked about gauge theory?
Cage theory, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that's what I
And
thought of when you were talking about the multi dimensions and the way he explained it. And it was fascinating how it mathematically explains our reality today. And as far as how close we are is actually understanding those dimensions we can't really see or conceive of or,
yeah,
comprehend. And then,
I went deep into the gauge theory too. I've been trying to get a grasp on it. It's just so complicated to understand gauge theory. But yeah, that's one of my favorite theories.
yeah, well, it's interesting how he explained the building blocks of mathematics. You get to a certain point, you get a certain layer where you've
Mm-hmm.
lost everything that you could possibly understand, and now you can't. It's really hard to grasp because
Yeah.
you're dealing with you can't even call it numbers. You're dealing with these concepts of mathematics that don't connect to anything that we're used to. Similar of what someone most people would feel like going into what is it like pre-calc.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
then I'm trying to remember, there was one more thing I wanted to, oh. So as far as talking about, women and how they are kind of put down in society. And I wish I could remember the specific book. Unfortunately, I don't. And it talked about that a bit and how women once were very powerful and they were the leaders. Like they were the ones that were, for lack of a better way of saying it, running shit. And this is like way, way back. And what allegedly happened was that there was this one man that, I guess it's just a common thing of like men started to get resentful, or, a handful, which, one bad apple. And there was this theory of the devil being a shapeshifter. And so one man proposed, he said, if the devil's a shapeshifter, who is to say that he's not shifted into that woman's body or to a woman's body? So he started stirring up this rumor or this idea of, if the devil is a shapeshifter, what would stop him from shapeshifting into a woman? What if he's the leader? And they started playing on the physical difference between men and women. And it created this, well, we're stronger. And if the devil is taking over or coming at us from a position of that authority, the women can't stop him because we're stronger. And so it elaborated a little bit better on that. And so from what that book described, that's what created this shift in men taking the power of women. It came from playing off the strength. And then from there was this suppression of women, not wanting them to get back in power, which again really sounds like an ego thing that just started creeping up.
Dude, the ego.
I wish I can remember. Terrible thing. I wish I can remember the book though, because I obviously would like it. I can't remember where I read it from. That gets tough too. The more material you gather, it's hard to remember what came from what.
Yes. I think, trying to think. I've read it. I've started reading. I didn't finish, but I read a book that was similar to what you're explaining, but it was focused more on solely on the feminine of everything.
Yeah.
And it's on my list. When I send it over to you after this, you'll see it. But yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. It's a beautiful world.
To me, it's been inescapable. To the deeper you look at life, it gets impossible to get away from the paradox of which life is. Because like you said, it's insane and it's beautiful at the same time. And that was one of the first thoughts I had when I finally got it myself, which I could have been just self-talking, but projecting that. I thought to myself, we're insane. Like, what are we doing? When I finally when it clicked, I'm like, what are we doing? What was I doing? Like, it's so like something else.
It's a divine dichotomy.
Yeah, I think this was in Conversations with God too. And I really like this line because I've always been really big into science, well before stumbling into this space. It is, we're sitting here, and I think it was in Conversation with God where he said this. We're sitting on a planet, spinning around in the middle of nowhere, going nowheres, and it's true. Like we forget that we get so caught up in this illusion that I think very few people actually take the perspective of we're literally floating on a planet in nowheres, and we have such trivial circumstances that are so inhibiting from us really progressing. And as I said to another friend of mine when we were having a conversation, the technology is progressing. However, I feel humanity is becoming stagnant. But like you said, and we both agree on, I feel that we're on this cusp of having this potential to break through. But I also believe that it's not guaranteed. Like, it comes down to, is there going to be enough energy, literally, and is there going to be enough to break through?